Thank you. So the terms and signs that we did was loud, soft. Loud is F or forte, Forte, and piano or P means quiet. And then crescendo was gradually getting louder, and decrescendo or diminuendo was gradually getting quieter. So today we are going to look at semiquavers and grouping notes and rests in the rhythm part 1. But before that, let us look at some terms and signs for today. Remember, piano meant soft, so mezzo piano. Mezzo is Italian term for half. So mezzo piano is like saying half quiet, which means moderately quiet. Mezzo forte, moderately loud. And then it's written as MF. And then we have fortissimo. Fortissimo is FF, and it means very loud. Very loud, fortissimo or FF. Pianissimo is PP, and it means very quiet. And then decrescendo, gradually getting quieter. Allegro means quick, and adagio means slow. These are terms and signs that you're going to get in your exam, so get to learn them. I'll give you a link to where you will be practicing this at the end of grade 1, but these are terms that you need to know, and you will find questions on these in today's quiz, in this week's quiz, and it's good to know them. It's good to know them. So the semiquaver. Semiquaver looks like this. We all remember we learned last time about the semibreve, minim, crotchet, cueva. Now today we are learning about the semiquaver. The semibreve was a whole note and was worth 4 counts or 4 beats. A minim was half note, and it was worth 2 counts. A crotchet was 1 count, and it's a quarter note, also called a quarter note. And then a cueva was the last recovered, which was an eighth note, which is worth half of a count. So this is a semiquaver, and it's going to be the shortest time value we are going to learn in grade 1. So let me see if Solomon, you can guess what the semiquaver will be called. If a whole note is a semibreve, a minim is a half note, a crotchet is a quarter note, a cueva is an eighth, what will we call a semiquaver, Solomon? Solomon, are you there? Can you just make a good guess? Solomon ameenda nje kidogo. Mary? A half note was a minim. Semibreve was a whole note. Minim was a half note. Crotchet is a quarter note. Cueva was an eighth note. So we are in semiquaver, which is half of a cueva. How will you call that? If semibreve is 1/1, minim is 1/2, crotchet is 1/4, cueva is 1/8, what will be a semiquaver? Who can get the pattern? Evelyn just joined. Alice Muño?
1/6.
1/6. 1/6. A good guess.
Let me guess.
Yes.
1/16.
Perfect. 1/16. A 16th note. We are going as we are making them halves, because a semibreve, you half it, becomes a half. You half the half, becomes a quarter. You half the quarter, it becomes an eighth. If you half the eighth, it becomes a 16th note. So the semiquaver is a 16th note. So that means 16 semiquavers make 1 semibreve. 16 semiquavers make 1 semibreve. So we have two semiquavers, if you add them together, you get a quiver. I've just told you that it's a half. And since a quiver is an 8th note, a semiquaver is a 16th note. 4 of them make a crochet beat. Just like 2 quavers make a crochet, so 4 semiquavers make a semi-break. So let me ask this question to, now that you have understood, to Mary. Mary, kindly tell me how many semiquavers will make a minim? Can you do that calculation? How many semiquavers will make a minim? Remember, a minim is equal to 2 crochets, and each crochet has 4 semiquavers. So how many semiquavers will make a minim? Kahesabu kamepiga chenga. Ann Mokundi? How many semiquavers will make a minim? Yes, Evelyn, you want to say something?
8.
8, perfect. 8. So that's because a minim lasts as long as 2 crochets. Each of the 2 crochets lasts as long as 2 quavers. That makes 4 quavers. So a minim has 4 quavers, and each of the quavers lasts as long as 2 semiquavers. That makes 8. Thank you. So 4 semiquavers, as we have said before, is 1 crochet. Since we know that the crochet is our beat, so 4 semiquavers are usually beamed together to show the beat. This is how 2 beats will look with semiquavers. So the first 4 semiquavers here is 1 crochet. Please note this. 4 semiquavers, a crochet, another 4 semiquavers, another crochet. This is how you will find the semiquavers beamed. Now look at this diagram. We have a crochet which is equal to 2 quavers. This is the tree that will make it visual. And each of these quavers is equal to 2 semiquavers. So you can see how 4 semiquavers make 1 crochet. And this is how they are beamed. The 2 quavers are beamed because they make 1 beat. And the 4 semiquavers are beamed with 2 flags or 2 beams to show 1 beat, which is a crochet beat. Kindly confirm that this is clear. Gladys, is that clear? Is it making sense? Gladys?
Yes.
Is it making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Not very?
Sorry?
Is it making sense or not very much?
It's making sense.
Okay, thank you for confirming. So grouping knots, when quavers and semiquavers are part of the same beat, they're usually grouped together through beaming. Look at this. How 4 semiquavers are beamed together. As we said earlier, they are beamed together to form a crochet beat, and we can have them mixed. Look at the one on the right, top right. We have a quiver and 2 semiquavers, and it's very clear that the first one is a quiver and the 2 semiquavers are different from the quiver. Notice how the beams are used to separate them. We have another one that starts with 2 semiquavers and a quiver, and somebody's trying to come in. And then you can see how the semiquavers are beamed together, showing the semiquavers, but they are also together with the quiver, and you can differentiate them very clearly. You cannot confuse and say that they are all semiquavers or they are all quavers. Notice how the beaming is done. And then we have a case where the quiver is in the middle of 2 semiquavers. In this case, the semiquaver will go halfway. It will not meet the quiver in the middle, and the semiquaver on the right will also go halfway. So you have something that looks like this, and you can clearly see that the first one is a semiquaver, the one in the middle is a quiver, and the other one on the right is a semiquaver. But all these make up a beat. They make up one crochet. 4 semiquavers, 1 crochet. Quiver and 2 semiquavers, 1 crochet. 2 semiquavers and quiver, 1 crochet. Same thing here. So I want you to try and identify the beats in this small section that's shown on the screen. How many beats are here? Evelyn, how many beats do you see? How many crochet beats? Sorry?
2 crochets.
2 crochets. So kindly help me point out the first crochet. Where does the first crochet come to? Where does it end?
No, not 2 crochets, but 2 quivers.
So 2 quivers make 1 crochet. Thank you.
Yes.
Another crochet, another beat. So in total, the whole bar has got how many beats?
Okay, 1, 2, 1, 12. No. Let's see.
Remember, a beat is a crochet.
Yes.
Like the first 2 quivers make a crochet.
Yes.
That is 1 beat. And then
1. Yeah.
remember, the beaming should be able to help you identify the beats because they're usually beamed in beats. Eight. When you count a beat as a quiver, there will be 8, but they are not 8 crochets. Somebody assist Evelyn. Thank you, Evelyn. Anne Mukundi. Somebody assist Anne. Mary. How many beats can you identify?
4.
4, perfect. So that is the first beat. Kindly follow. That is the second beat. You can see how it's beamed to form a crochet. That's the third beat, and that's the fourth beat, a crochet. Makes sense? So Evelyn, now I want you to try this and tell me how many beats you can see. Now that you have seen how we group the beats. Evelyn, try again on this one. How many beats can you identify?
3.
Perfect. That is the first beat, then the second beat, and the third beat. Thank you. And then I want someone else to try and tell me about this one. I wonder if Anne Mukundi is here. Solomon Wainaina, kindly tell us how many beats do you see in the last one below. I hope it's clear on your screens. Solomon, are you there? How many beats? I didn't get it. 2 beats. 2 beats. Thank you. That is the first beat, the 4 semiquavers, and the second beat. Now I want all of you to take notice of the time signature. The time signature could tell you. I told you the top number tells you the number of beats in a bar, and so the 4 here is a hint that we have 4 crochet beats. The 3 here we have 3 crochet beads, and the 2 here we have 2 crochet beads. Now we also have what we call rests. And rests are silent moments in music, and they usually have values, just like the semi-brief, minim, crochet, cueva, and semi-cueva. Each of them have got their equivalent rests, and they should be counted just like the notes. So let's look at these rests. Pay careful attention to the semi-brief rest. The semi-brief rest is hanging from the 4th line of the staff, and this is a semi-brief rest. It can be a semi-brief rest indicating 4 beats of silence, or it can be used to notate a whole bar that is silent. So even if the bar is 2-4 or 3-4 and it's totally silent, you'll usually see a semi-brief rest. It's very common, and it's the way it should be indicated. So it either means 4 beats of silence, like a semi-brief, or a whole silent bar. And then we have a minim rest. So I want to ask someone to identify this for me. So Freshie and Disho, so kindly tell me what's the difference between this semi-brief rest and this minim rest. What's the difference that you can spot? You can unmute and just speak. Anne, tell us what's the difference?
The way they are indicated in the bars.
Yes, so what is the difference? How will you differentiate a semi-brief from a minim rest? What will help you remember that this is a semi-brief rest and this is a minim rest?
The direction of a time.
The direction of so maybe you explain this one looks like this, the way you would just tell yourself so that you remember it looks like this, so I'll know it this way.
Okay.
I usually like saying that the minim rest is sitting on a line, and the semi-brief rest is hanging from a line. And then I like thinking that this semi-brief rest is hanging on the 4th line, and then the minim rest is sitting on the 3rd line. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then the crochet rest is a unique one. You cannot confuse it. The crochet rest. Thank you, Anne. The crochet rest is a very unique one. It looks like a Z and a C connected together. And then a cueva rest looks like a 7. And it's written on the 3rd line. And then we have a semi-cueva rest, which looks like 2 7s combined. Semi-cueva rest. I hope that's clear. So look at how the grouping happens with rests. So the first example, we have 4-4, and we have a crochet rest which is 1 beat because a crochet is a beat. And then the second beat is a cueva and 2 semi-cuevas. And then the 3rd beat, we have a cueva and 2 semi-cuevas. Now a cueva rest and 2 semi-cuevas. So this is they cannot be beamed because the first one is a cueva, but this is perfectly okay. And you cannot use 2 semi-cueva rests, that is using more rests than required. So it's a cueva plus 2 semi-cuevas that make a beat, cueva rest and 2 semi-cuevas, and then a crochet at the end, that makes 4 beats. In the second one, we have 4 semi-cuevas. They are together, they are grouped together, but they cannot be beamed together because you cannot beam a rest. You can only beam knots. And so this semi-cueva the semi-cueva rest cannot be beamed to the 3 cuevas, but it's part of the first beat. It's perfectly okay the way it's written. And then the second beat and the 3rd beat are making sense. We already looked at them. And then the last example, 2-4, the semi-cueva rest is at the beginning, and it's part of the 3 semi-cuevas. The 4 semi-cuevas that make the first beat, the way they are circled, you can see. And then when you have a Cueva and a Cueva Rest, they're usually written like this. There is no way you can beam them, but they are grouped together. They are together to show the beat. Michael, tell me if that makes sense, what I've just said. Is all this making sense?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Thank you so much. Gladys, is it making sense?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So let's go to this is the last thing we looked at. So we are going to the second part of the lesson, and that is about pitch. Pitch, the second part of pitch. We did part 1 last week. So we're going to look at what we call accidentals, and then more about accidentals, and then we are going to look at semitones and tones, and that's it for today. So what are accidentals? Accidentals are signs or symbols that are used in music to show that a note is going to be affected in one way or another. So we have an accidental that's called a sharp. And a sharp looks like this, the one you're seeing in a red balloon. A sharp looks like a hash. When a sharp is written in front of a note, it makes the note sound high. So you sharpen the note. Sharpening means raising. And then we have a flat. A flat looks like a B, but a stylish B. And when a flat is written in front of a note, it makes the note sound lower. So a flat is the opposite of a sharp. And then we have what we call a natural. A natural changes a note with a sharp or a flat back to its normal pitch. So if a note had a sharp or is affected by a sharp, a natural returns it to the normal pitch. I'll show you in examples in a moment. And then we have normal notes, the ones we have been looking at. Now we are talking about the notes on the staff. Remember what we are doing about the notes on the staff, the A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The G clef, the lines was every good boy deserves fun, and the spaces spelled the word face, and the bass clef we have grizzly bears don't fear anything, and then the spaces all cows eat grass. Those are the notes we are talking about. When notes are written on those letters, the spaces and lines of the staff, they can be affected by sharps or flats or naturals. These are called accidentals. Now let us look at notes with accidental. Somebody tell me the name of this note. Who haven't I called? Fresia. What's the name of this note? This is bass clef. Don't miss the clef. What's the name of this line, Fresia?
I'm yet to understand. I've just joined.
Okay. So
I can't remember.
Okay, thank you. Kindly go through those. It's in the first video. Alice, what's the name of this note?
Yes, which one?
Can you see my screen? The note here on the fourth line of the bass clef.
Yeah. A semi-brief.
The semi-brief, very good. But what's the name of that line where the semi-brief is placed?
Oh, okay. It's placed on the fourth, eh?
Yes.
G clef.
This is bass clef. This is bass clef. G clef is the one that looks like a G. This one looks like an F. So this is F clef or bass clef. So do you know the names of the lines and spaces for the bass clef? lines and spaces for bass clef. Remember answering the questions about A, B, C, D, E, F, G. What is the mnemonic that you use to remember the lines of the bass clef?
Myself,
Yes.
I did not win.
Okay, but the one that was given.
The one that was given where in the test?
Yeah, not in the test, but in the notes that we learned last time. Remember we learned how to name the lines and spaces for the bass clef. And I gave you the mnemonics like every good boy deserves fun, the face, the grizzly bears don't fear anything, all cows eat grass. Do you remember us doing that?
Yeah.
So what were we using for the bass clef?
For now, I don't know.
You don't remember? Somebody remind us. Yes, Evelyn.
For the F clef,
Uh-huh.
we were using all cows eat grass for the spaces,
Uh-huh.
and grizzly bears don't fear anything for the lines.
Perfect. So what is the
And
name
the line
of this?
above there is the F line.
F line. Perfect. So this is line F. Thank you so much, Evelyn. This is line F. And remember the F clef usually puts the dots above and below line F. That is what the F clef shows you. The F clef shows you line F. So this is F sharp. F sharp because of this sign sharp. You remember the sign sharp looks like a hash. So the name of this note is F because it's on the line F, and sharp because it has the sign sharp before it. So this is F sharp. This is how you write F sharp. Below it, F sharp. And then somebody now tell us the name of this note. Let me see. Solomon, kindly tell us the name of this note. Please note that this is a treble clef. This is a treble clef. This is a G clef. What is the name of this note? Solomon? If you unmute and speak quickly, we will save a lot of time. Evelyn, you can now mute. Thank you. Yes, Solomon? This is a treble clef. And what is the name of this semi-brief note here? It's written on the first line of treble clef and it has a flat. Solomon? Sorry, repeat again.
E flat.
E flat. E flat. Good. So because the lines of the treble clef are E. Every good boy deserves fun. E. And then the spaces are face. F, S, C, E. So this is E flat. Thank you. And then we have this other note. Michael, tell us the name of this note.
It's an E. E flat.
E flat. Perfect. Very good, because the spaces of bass clef are all cows eat grass. So first space all is A, second space cows C, eat E, and then grass G. And then we have this other note, Gladys. What's the name of this note? This is a treble clef, G clef, or treble clef. What is the name of this note?
F flat.
This is a sharp. It's a hash.
Sorry?
A flat looks like a B. It looks like this one. This is a sharp.
Oh, sharp.
Something. What was the letter again?
D flat. D sharp, I mean.
Okay, the sharp is correct, but no, this is not D. Remember, the first line of the G clef is E. Is that right?
Yes.
Below it, we have D on the space. And then
C.
C sharp. Perfect. This is C sharp. And then Anne Mokundi, tell us the name of this note. This is bass clef. Kindly, let's save time. Anne Mokundi. Alice Muño. What's the name of this note? This is bass clef.
Is it G? G sharp.
G sharp, perfect. G sharp, because this is bass clef and that is letter G. All cows eat grass. G sharp. And then we have this other note. Let me see. I think we have all spoken. Frecia, have you gotten the map? Are we together now?
Yes, we are together.
Okay, are you able to name this one? This is treble clef and this is the second space. It has a flat.
Which one?
The one on at the right, bottom right.
No.
Okay, so the lines of the spaces of G clef are spell the word face, F-A-C-E. So this is the second space. Remember, we count spaces and lines from bottom. So F, A. So this is A flat. Okay, so we have another one here. Evelyn, help us with this one. Take note of the clef. Evelyn ametoka kidogo. Anne Mokundi, are we together? Ulirudi? Yes, Gladys.
D flat.
D flat. Continue with the next one. What is this?
F A C C C C C sharp.
Sharp, correct.
Yes.
What about that one?
F E D F E D C B B B B
B
B
flat.
B flat. Yeah.
Correct. You can even use the mnemonics like grizzly bears don't fear anything, and then you'll know the second line is B. Correct. So Michael, help us with these other three. Michael Chege. Thank you, Gladys. Michael, what's the first one on the bottom line?
F sharp.
F sharp, correct. And then the next one?
D sharp.
This is bass clef.
Oh, yeah.
Take note of the clef. Don't miss the clef.
Oh, C sharp.
C sharp. And then we have the last one.
B flat.
B flat. Thank you. Thank you so much. And now, this is something else about accidentals. Thank you so much, Michael. An accidental, for those who are still not confident about the letters, the staff, the clefs, G clef and bass clef, naming the lines and the spaces, you will get confused from here onward, because you need to. That's why I was insisting, make sure you are okay with the first lesson, because every other thing you're going to build on them. It's still not late. Go back to the video and watch it, and then take notes and do the test. make sure you get at least above 90, and that way you'll know that you are at a good place. You can move on. I don't want to hear people quitting because it's getting hard. It can only get hard when you're not comfortable with the previous lessons. It only gets easier. It should get easier. So kindly review the first lesson and you're not going to regret it. The first lesson video, I record it for you so that you can go through it again and again. Because some of these things you might be having some kind of thought that it might be hard or something, but if you look at it 2-3 times, it gets easier. I have people who got 60 in the beginning, but as we go on, they got 100, and that means that they are now confident about what they are doing. Repetition helps you to master. Kindly go back to the video and learn how to name the lines and the spaces, because you're going to be floating and it's going to be very easy to quit because of that, and I don't want to hear people quitting. So from here we are basing on the first lesson. We are just building on the first lesson, so make sure you're okay with the first lesson. So this is F. The first line of the bass clef is called letter F, and this is F sharp. Now, one thing you should know about accidentals is that when you have an accidental on any note, if there is another note in the same bar that is in the same pitch, like this other F here, because it's the same bar, that other F will also be F sharp. This accidental affects the whole bar. And remember, it has to be the first one that affects the second one. The second one cannot affect the first one. So accidentals affect notes that come after it. So please take note that in this second example, the first note is F and the second is F sharp. The F sharp, the second F sharp cannot make the first one F sharp. It only affects notes that come after it. And so the first one, the first example here, the second note is F sharp because it's affected by the first accidental and because it's still in the same bar. I hope that makes sense. So if there is an accidental on a bar and there's another note of the same pitch in the same bar, that second note on the same pitch will be affected by the first accidental. Now, please note that same pitch means same line or same space. So in this case, this is F sharp, the first note circled by the red rectangle is F sharp because of the accidental. The second one here that is circled again is another F sharp because it's affected by this first sharp. But the third F, because it's an octave higher, this is a different F, it's not the same pitch as the first one, it's not affected by this accidental. It is F natural, it's just a normal F. So, an accidental only affects note on the same space or same line or same pitch. Now, another thing is that an accidental only applies within a bar. When there is a bar line, like it's shown by the red arrow, when there is a bar line, it cancels an accidental. And so, the second B in this image, this B here, is not B flat, because this flat that was here before was cancelled by the bar line. But if this B was in the same bar as the first B flat, then it will be affected by the B flat. I hope that makes sense. And then we have the first example that we had, we said the last F would be F sharp because it's affected by the first sharp. What about if we don't want the second F to be a sharp? What do? That's where the natural comes in. The natural cancels the previous accidental so that the second note is not affected by the first accidental. And so we have this F and we have F sharp at the beginning, and at the end we have F natural. But without this natural, then it would have been F sharp because it's in the same bar and it's going to be affected by this sharp. So the natural cancels an accidental. Let me know if that made sense. Ann Mokundi, just unmute and say it doesn't make sense or it makes sense. Kindly don't put don't just log in and do your normal business. It's not going to help. You'd rather wait for a recording. Freshie and Isho, tell me if it makes sense. Frecia, you have unmuted. Is the idea of accidentals and how they affect and how they are cancelled by the bar line, does it make sense?
So far, I've only understood the accidentals.
Yeah.
I don't have the notes. I haven't printed my notes.
Uh-huh.
I will today so that I can be able to cope with you.
Okay, I'm recording this lesson so
kindly-
you can follow.
So kindly today morning will allow me to just listen.
Okay, sawa. Okay, Gladys.
Mm.
Gladys, is it making sense, the idea of accidentals?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. So Gladys, kindly unmute. So look at the following bars.
Yes.
Are you able to find the higher note in the first bar? Which one is higher between C and C sharp?
The C sharp.
The C sharp is higher, so the higher note is C sharp. What about in the second bar? Which one is higher? What are the names of these notes, Gladys? The first one is
B.
And the second one?
B flat.
Which one is higher?
The B.
B is higher than B flat.
Yes.
Okay. Remember, a sharp raises a note and a flat lowers a note. What about the third bar?
We have F sharp and the F
natural.
Natural.
Yeah, it cancels the sharp. So F natural is just like saying F. It's just natural F. So which one is higher?
The F sharp.
F sharp. Perfect. Okay, thank you so much. So Solomon, kindly have you come back? Unmute if you can hear me, Solomon.
Yeah.
Okay, so help me name spot the higher note in the fourth bar. This bass clef here. This is a bass clef. So between this B flat and D natural, which one is higher?
B flat.
Remember, a flat lowers a note, a sharp raises a note. So usually a flat is lower than a natural, and a natural is lower than a sharp, or a sharp is higher than a natural, and a natural is higher than a flat. So this is a D natural and a D flat and a D natural. So which one is higher?
D natural.
D natural. What about the next bar? We have E natural, E and E flat. Which one is higher?
E natural.
E natural. Perfect. And then we have the last one here. We have B flat and B natural. Which one is higher?
B natural.
B natural. Thank you. So someone else to try this out. Michael, which one is higher in this first bar? We have G and G sharp.
G sharp.
G sharp. The next one, which one is higher?
It's A.
This is G clef. This is treble clef. Face. The spaces spell the word face.
It's E.
Yes. E natural is lower. Oh, sorry. Actually, I'm asking about the lower. Sorry.
Oh, the lower note.
Yeah, the lower, not the higher. Sorry, I forgot to say that.
So the first one, it is G
G natural, and then the second
G
one.
natural. It's E flat.
The next one.
F uh, F flat.
This is G clef, so every good boy. B flat.
B flat, yeah.
Yes.
B flat.
Thank you so much. And let's hear Evelyn. Solomon, you can mute now. Thank you. Evelyn, kindly help us identify the lower note in this.
It's the it's the C natural.
Thank you. And then the next one, the next bar, we have A and A flat, the lower.
So the A flat.
A flat, and then we have the last one, the last bar.
The last bar, it's the it's the F. It's the F.
This is not F. Remember, this is bass clef.
Yes. The A.
Grizzly bears don't fear anything for the lines.
Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of confused a little bit.
This is bass clef, and so the fourth line is line F.
Okay. Yes. The F flat.
This is not F. The line is not the fourth line. Remember, the bass clef, the two dots show you where F is. It's above and below the line F.
Okay.
So what is the line below? Because after F we have E below, and then
we have the D.
D. So this is line D.
Yes. Yes.
So which one is lower?
So the lower is the D. The D flat.
Exactly. Thank you. So, what are the notes shown by the arrows? Thank you so much, Evelyn. Let's see. Alice. Alice, kindly unmute. Alice. Unmute. Okay. Because of time, let's just go through this. Alice, are you there? She's not. Evelyn, unmute. Okay. So this is a bass clef, and we know this note that is pointed by the first arrow is B, because we know this is F, G, A, B. And then this next one is going to be B flat. The third one here, you might be tempted to think it's B flat, but it's not. The bar line has cancelled the B flat here. So this is B natural. And then the other one here is B flat again. The fourth one and the last one is B natural because it's not affected by the other one. It's a different pitch. The second line here, this is E flat. This is going to be E natural because it's cancelled with the natural. And then this is B flat. This other one will be B flat because it's still in the same bar. It's affected by the first B flat. And so that is the way you reason about the accidentals. This is the answer. These are the answers. So remember, the previous is not affected by the letter. The bar line cancels an accidental, so this is B natural. And an accidental only affects a note on the same pitch. So this B on the bottom will not be affected by the accidental at the top, even though they are in the same bar. Same thing here. A natural cancels an accidental, so this is E natural. You don't have to put the natural sign when saying E natural. And then we have a B flat. B flat, and the other one is a B flat because it's the same pitch, same bar. So let's look at tones and semitones. The tones and semitones are words used to describe the distance between two notes. A semitone is the shortest distance we can measure between two notes. So the way I was asking between C and C sharp, which is higher, that's a semitone. C and C sharp are a semitone. So a tone is 2 semitones, and so a tone is bigger than a tone. So on a piano, there's a semitone between every note, whether white or black. So each black key on the piano has 2 names. We're going to look at that. A sharp of the white key below it and a flat of the white key above it. This is what I mean. This is a picture of a piano, and these are the letters on the piano: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. C is found before the 2 black keys. So after C, a semitone higher will be C sharp. A semitone higher will be D. A semitone higher will be D sharp. A semitone higher will be E. A semitone higher will be F. We are going to F, another white key, because there is no black key between E and F. F to F sharp, another semitone. F sharp to G, you can follow the arrows, then G sharp, then A sharp, then B, then C. Coming down will be C, B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, E, E flat, D, D flat, C. Those are semitone intervals, semitone movements, semitone from one key to the other. So the distance from E to F and B to C, I said, is semitone because there is no black key between them. The distance from C to D, like you see here, C to D is a tone because we have 2 semitones. Take note that from C, the letter C here, to the D, you have moved 2 semitones. So C to D is a tone. I hope that makes sense. You can rewatch the video later to find that out. So whenever you skip a note, whenever you skip a semitone, that is a tone. If you don't skip a note, that is a semitone. Simple as that. So look at this example. We have a D, D sharp, E, and an F. That is semitone movement. So from D to D sharp, that's a semitone. D sharp to E is a semitone. And E to F is a semitone. Look at it on the piano. That is D. And then that is D sharp, the black key after D. That is E. Notice the semitone movement. And then because there's no black key from E to F, there we got another semitone to F. And notice that whenever you skip a semitone like so, you have a tone. So from D to E is a tone because you skipped a note between. And from D sharp to F is also a tone because you skipped E between. I hope that makes sense. So I want you to draw and label the notes on the piano and then send me a photo. You can refer to the notes or Google, draw and label the notes on the piano. And this might be the first thing you need to do before doing any tests. So learn how to draw a piano now, not tomorrow. So this is a test. Identify tones and semitones in each bar below. And because of time, I'll take you through. This is a semitone because from A sharp to B is a semitone. You can see that clearly on the piano if you learn how to draw it. And then from B to C, there is no black key between B to C. That's also a semitone. And then from G sharp to G natural is also a semitone. Now from this is D flat to E flat. You can see it on the piano. D flat to E flat. D flat is this black key here. Let me go back to the big piano. D flat is this note here, the first black key here. And E flat is this. You can see the semitone movements, 2 semitone movements. That's a tone. That's why we are saying it's a tone. Okay, back to our slide. And then we have E to F is a semitone. And then from B flat to C is also a semitone. I'm a C to B flat. You can just spot them on the piano if you learn how to draw them. Same thing here. We have a tone here. A tone from F sharp to G sharp. You have skipped a G between. And then we have from E flat to E natural is a semitone. From D to C or from C to D is also a tone because C, there is a C sharp between before you get to D. And then this is bass clef, so this is A to A flat to B flat. That's a semitone. And then we have E to F, it's a semitone. There is no black key between E to F. And then we have D flat to E flat. That's a tone. The trick to learning this and getting along with this is drawing a piano. If you can draw a piano and spot the semitone movements, you will never miss a tone and semitone question. Now, let me tell you now that we are completing. All that we have learned today is a foundation for next week's lesson. We're going to learn about scales, and it will be so hard for you to understand scales if you don't know about tones and semitones and the higher and the lower. So kindly, if you have any weak point in this lesson, go back to the video. I've recorded the video and I'll post it on YouTube today. So go back to the lesson, go through the lesson again. Kindly, these first lessons are so important so that next time you'll not float. So I'm expecting Freshia that by next lesson you'll have gone through lesson 1, lesson 2, the one that we have done today, and that you'll be comfortable to face lesson 3. Kindly promise. Freshia, if you're there, promise us that you're going to go through lesson 1 and 2. Meenda kuosha vyombo. Evelyn, I think Evelyn, you have done a lot of work. I can see in your answers that you have really worked hard. Thank you. And then we have who else? Solomon alijoin na akaenda shughuli zake. And Mukundi alijoin na akaenda shughuli zake. Alice Munywa, are you comfortable with today's lesson? Are you going to work on it?
Yes, I will work on it.
Okay. Naona Ann Mukundi umerudi. Please, Ann Mukundi, when you join, just stay. Or you can just
Nimekuwa.
Sorry?
Sijachoka, nimekuwa.
Nimekuwa nikikuongelesha, umekuwa ukininyamazia tu.
Nilikuwa naongea ndio kuwa unanisikia.
Oh, you were not unmuting. Basi uko unmute, sorry. Okay, so kindly let us be on the same page next week. These first few lessons are very fundamental. They are very important. Kindly, please kindly go through them again. If you have any questions, just ask on the page, on the WhatsApp page. I'll be very quick to respond when I get an opportunity. And I wish we move together step after step to make sure that we are moving as one. So remember, I've told you scales will be so difficult to understand if you don't understand the lesson that we have learned today. But if you understand today's lesson, it will be as walking in the park. Very easy. So let me know if you have any problem, and then let me know through the WhatsApp group. Any question as we complete? Thank you so much for joining today's lesson. I hope today we are going to do, I will send a link to the quiz. Kindly do as many times as possible and get to understand what you are doing. Thank you so much, and see you next week.